morning, YouTube. Tired Metalhead Weatherman here. Hopefully you guys are doing well. We have a very dangerous weather situation that's developed today. Tried to work on a video last night, but by the time I was about done, it was 11, so I figured models are going to update, and this is going to end up being useless, so here we are this morning instead. Apologize to anyone that was expecting a video sooner, but I am here though. That being said, enhanced risk for severe weather today. My target area that I've been talking about actually came to fruition. Also, shout out to some of the guys in Discord. We had been talking about this. One of the guys that was the first, one of them was the first to call it out. So it's pretty cool to see all of that kind of come to fruition, seeing what all of us saw and then nailing it pretty much here. So far, at least. Still no guarantees as to whether or not this threat fully comes to fruition, but I'm pretty confident in it, I would say. The main threat today is damaging winds. There's a 30% area here in the enhanced risk region. Again, mainly across the Tennessee-Kentucky line. Also stretches into the North Carolina-Virginia regions as well. Slight risk stretches even as far north as parts of West Virginia and stretches even towards the North Carolina-South Carolina line. We also have a slight risk for hail and a 5% tornado area. This was the main area that we were kind of honing in on, was right along this corridor here, just around Bowling Green and then working past it. I do see potential for maybe a strong tornado. Likelihood's not super high, but there are some notable parameters, some more notable than what I've seen with the kinematics over the last month, I would say. So let's go ahead and take a look at the models here. You'll notice that we're using a different site today. This is a College of DuPage. It works a little bit smoother. It looks pretty solid. Kind of feels a little bit more like a weather map, so to speak, if you ask me, but hopefully you guys like it. But this is what we've been talking about. Not much has really changed with that, with the setup here. This little tail of it, there's a little tail to this trough here that's hung around, and as a result, this is going to end up sparking off a little bit of severe weather today across the southeast. The main area of notoriety around the different levels of the atmosphere is around the 700 millibar region. This is called the shortwave zone, or this is what we would call the shortwave zone. Not the most impressive look on here until we get towards about 21Z, which would be close to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We do get this stronger pocket where we're getting up to about 50 to 60 knots. Again, one of the more impressive setups that we've seen. And then also the low-level jet looks really impressive on this as well. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and take a look at that. This is going into 21Z. I think I've gone a little too far, actually. But somewhere in this corridor here, I thought I actually saw a higher value close to about maybe 60 knots at 850 millibars, just about 1,000 feet above our heads. This would give me more confidence in a tornado threat and also a damaging wind threat here. Pretty sure that's what the Storm Prediction Center has been seeing as well. So with that being said, with those parameters in place, we already know that this place is going to be a thermodynamic hot box, so to speak. Temperatures near the 80s. High dew points has been pretty humid around this region all week. Conditions seem like they're set in place here. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and switch over to HRRR here. I'm still learning how to work my way around this. We're going to look at simulated reflectivity here after we change some things really quickly. Still learning how to use this, so just bear with me here. But this is heading towards 1920Z. We start to see a lot more storms beginning to develop here. Mainly has the look of an MCS, but in there could be there's potential for a couple of embedded supercells here with the threat of tornadoes. And when we looked at the parameters earlier, I actually took a couple of soundings where that shortwave was really strong, and I was getting these soundings. This especially a little bit later into the evening. Not the greatest in Cape values. We're only hitting up to about 800, 900 joules per kilogram. Sufficient enough for severe, sufficient enough for a supercell. You really want to get close to about 1,000 joules per kilogram, but we're just under that by a little bit. It's more than sufficient enough. Supercell analogs are showing weak supercell, which makes sense given the lack of Cape. But as I've said before many a times, with if one parameter is lacking, if other parameters are abundant enough, you can still get severe weather, and this is one of those cases. Here's another sounding that I took earlier. This is a slightly less impressive one, but it's a pretty similar deal. Cape is a little bit higher early in the day, which is indicative of our instability. This has mainly been based around that Tennessee-Kentucky line, so I think that's where the greatest threat for tornadoes exists. Do I expect a 10% area or hatch risk area? I lean towards no. There's other parameters here that would kind of lead me to think no. Mainly the lifting index, it's not that impressive. You want to see a negative, you usually would see at minimum a -4. We reach it, but if you want to see anything of significance, you're usually looking for much higher or much lower lifting index values. You would see maybe a -7, somewhere between -7 and -9. That being said, that's what we're looking at here as far as model guidance is concerned from the dynamic side of things. These storms will roll in by about 21Z, and it won't be really until later tonight, I'd say about maybe 06Z, which would be close to around, if I were to give a ballpark number, because I'm having a little bit of a brain fart here, 06Z would really be about maybe 2, 3 a.m. At that point, the severe weather threat will have diminished. You might see a little bit of increased activity over here towards central North Carolina, but it's a marginal risk at best. So, again, we're going to have to just keep an eye on the weather. If I can get home in time, depending on what time storms fire over here, I'm actually going to go ahead and take a look at that really quickly because I haven't had a chance to really look at too much before I came in today. I'm going to try to go live. I would love the chance to go see what's going on here, especially since it's a little bit closer to my neck of the woods. But from the looks of it, I won't be getting off early, it seems. That being said, though, you guys stay weather aware out there today. Plan is to go live. There's probably going to be a few other people going live today too. And then, of course, there's more severe weather down the line, which we will probably talk about later tonight. But that being said, thanks for watching the video. You know what to do. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, obliterate the share button, and incinerate the comment section. It's been Metalhead Weatherman. Take care. I'll see you guys later today.